cover. And I just want to make sure that we have everybody, just, if everybody would mute themselves, just a little bit of housekeeping so that we're not hearing dogs or whatever. That would be really great. So first, I hope everybody's doing well. And I just want to say thanks for taking the time to join us on this wonderful journey through England's Great West Way. And undoubtedly, some of you may be familiar with it, the route, some of you may not, but we hope that everybody discovers some wonderful places to see and experiences that you guys and your clients can for sure enjoy. I just a little plug for us as GT Experiences. I know that lots of you know who we are, but for those that don't, we're a tour operator / DMC. We're located in New Jersey. We're 100% focused on delivering great experiences strictly through travel agents throughout Europe. And our job is to help build customized FIT itineraries. And you'll find at the end, this webinar is going to be on our website. So you'll find it there. And I'm here with Flo Wallace. She's the head of travel trade for the Great West Way. Hello, Flo.
Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody.
And we are going to take this journey straight across from, and all of you are aware that this is the first of 3 webinars. Next week and the following week, there'll be part 2 and part 3, covering different subjects along the Great West Way. And we hope that you'll join us. And there's a great prize at the end, which is a week away, traveling along the Great West Way. So let's get started. Let me see here. Johnny,
Okay.
what's our first?
Hello, everybody. My name is Gianni, and we partner with Tom in GT Experience. And today we restart what we left a few months ago. And we started from the UK, which is the last destination that we included in our offer to Europe. And it was a great introduction because we did a lot of trip to England this year. And today we are here to introduce a very nice part of UK with our friend on location that they are waiting for us to introduce you the area. Okay, let me share my screen, and we are on our way. There you go.
Hey, Flo.
Hi.
So, couple of things I wanted to just say. Flo, why don't you explain what is England's Great West Way?
Yeah, right. Well, England's Great West Way is one of the world's premier touring routes between London and Bristol. It was based on one of the first great roads commissioned by the Kings of England in 1660. We've got about 500 miles of navigable routes, and it's got so much to offer the visitor, from the world-renowned English icons such as Bath and Windsor, the Cotswolds, Stonehenge, but alongside the less well-known,
I know it's
hidden gems.
I'm sorry, hold on one second.
Things that we
Can everybody please mute their mics?
so anyway, to be at the Spira.
Johnny?
Yeah, I'm trying to see who has the microphone.
Oh, early
Someone has got their.
Yeah,
and luckily enough, this person, that's my doctor, my GI doctor, picked that day, he hours called Florida, the February. That's awesome.
Okay. You have to unmute yourself, please, Tom and Flo.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, that was
Hey,
better.
can you move us to the map? Next slide. Here we go.
Excellent. So yeah, there's sort of 500 miles of navigable routes along there, and there's a wide range of English experiences that aren't found anywhere else in the country. So we've got, you know, a number of different ways that we're encouraging people to travel, and you can see from the map that there's waterways running all the way through the route with the Kennet and Avon Canal and the River Thames. So we're encouraging people to use the waterways, to cycle, to the road network is good, and obviously coach travel and car travel, cycling, walking, etc. So it's a multimodal touring route.
Yeah, and we'll show different aspects of this route as we continue on the webinars over the next three weeks. How did this start, Flo?
Yeah, so we launched in 2018. We were one of a number of successful projects to obtain government funding from Visit England's Discover England Fund. But now we've got a self-funding model working with over 250 tourism businesses and destinations along or within easy reach of the route.
And who's the traveler?
Well, the traveler is the curious traveler. That's how we describe them. Sort of anybody that really wants to explore further and delve deeper and uncover the real essence of authentic England experiences. So it's not about rushing through the area, but taking your time, stopping, being curious, getting off the beaten track, that type of experience.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the key destinations along that route?
Okay, so some of these places you probably are aware of. You've probably are aware of obviously London at the East End. Then you come across to Windsor and Eton. There's Heathrow Airport that's obviously at this end of the route, which I know lots of flights come into. You can then travel through into Reading, Newbury, Berkshire, Marlborough, Hungerford. You've got the Cotswolds. A quarter of the route is sort of Wiltshire area. You've got and then you move into the World Heritage Site of Bath and Bristol.
Stonehenge as well.
And Stonehenge, yeah, not forgetting Stonehenge, which you guys probably are familiar with.
So Johnny, can we move to the next slide? So keep going. Next slide. So there we have Stonehenge. This is really just a bit about what we were talking about. Go on to the next one.
Yeah, so we've got Stonehenge, and just flicking back, sorry, Johnny, to the other slide, we've got what you can discover. It's just worth pointing out that, I mentioned that there's, an extraordinary variety of English experiences and a massive amount of history and heritage. There are 3 World Heritage Sites, Bath, Kew, Avebury and Stonehenge, 31 National Trust properties and landscapes along or within easy reach of the route, 28 English heritage properties, 3 outstanding areas of outstanding natural beauty, but superb accommodation, excellent food and drink experiences, and amazing attractions and activities. And some of these are luxury, high end, which I know many of your clients will be. And of course, it's for all year round. It's not just for one season, but it's for all seasons. There's a good out of season Christmas and winter offer within the area too.
Mm-hmm. Johnny, you can go on to the next slide.
Should we watch the video?
Yeah, it's a short video on the Great West Way. Great, thanks. A couple of things. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just ask it in the chat, and we'll get back to you either immediately or after the video with the answers that you're asking. The other thing is we're going to introduce you to a lot of different people. We're going to start with Windsor Castle. You're going to meet people representing castles and beautiful stately homes that you guys can go visit, as well as, excuse me, as well as your customers. So why don't we start? Ian Terry's the first one. I've lost my voice. Help me there.
I'll take over. That's fine. Thanks, Tom.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming along, and absolutely delighted to tell you a bit more about Windsor Castle today. My name is Ian Terry. I'm the Senior Sales and Business Development Manager for Royal Collection Trust. Royal Collection Trust, we're a department of His Majesty the King's Royal Household, and we facilitate the opening of His Majesty's official residences to the public, of which Windsor Castle is, of course, one of those. And it sits at one end of the Great West Way, nearest London and just by Heathrow. Next slide, please. Windsor Castle, it's the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world, which you may not know, and it's been the family home of British kings and queens for almost 1,000 years. We're getting to that anniversary, not too far away now. It occupies over 10.5 hectares, and the castle offers a varied day out for visitors, including a visit to the magnificent state apartments. Next slide, please. And the next slide. Also, there is St George's Chapel, which people may know as the resting place of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The castle state apartments are all furnished with some of the finest works from the Royal Collection, which is one of the largest and most important art collections in the world. It all reflects the changing tastes of the castle's royal occupants over those 1,000 years, with particular focus on Charles II and George IV, who made large amendments and additions to the castle. Among some of the masterpieces on displays that you'll see in this photo here are paintings by old masters such as Holbein, Rubens and Van Dyck, the Sèvres porcelain and exquisite English furniture. And many of these works of art are still in the historic setting for which they were first collected or commissioned by those kings and queens over the last 1,000 years who placed them inside the castle. Visitors can take a self-guided tour of the castle, and we offer a free multimedia tour. And from September to March, visitors can also walk through the sumptuous semi-state apartments, which served as the private rooms of George IV in the 19th century, and which are still used on a daily basis now by the royal family when they're not open to the public. A bit of operational information. Since 2020, we have introduced time tickets to manage the number of visitors that are allowed inside the castle at any one time. And this has massively reduced the queuing times and the crowds, which were once a commonplace and previously the castle was known for.
Thank you. I was curious about that. I was going to ask you that very question.
Yes, we've tackled that one. But this does mean that all of our visitors have to book in advance when they visit the castle, as tickets are often not available to purchase on the day. So pre-purchase group packages are really the perfect way to visit. So we're just going to play a quick trailer now to show you a bit more. You can play the video. So hopefully that gives you another bit of a taste. I hope you enjoyed that. And when visiting an official residence of the King, your clients are rest assured that they will have the most memorable and quintessentially British day out. There really is so much to see. I'm very happy to answer any questions that anybody has. You can pop those into the chat and I can be answering those for you, or send me a message directly.
Thanks, Ian. I really appreciate it. Can we, Johnny, we could move on to the next, and Ian, I know that you need to take off.
Yeah, I'll be around for a bit just to answer any questions that people may put in the chat. Then I've just got to head off a bit later. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. So the next location we're going to show you is Blenheim Palace. So Flo, if you want to.
Yeah, we'd like to introduce Blenheim. It's a lovely, beautiful palace, and well worth a visit. It's slightly within easy reach of the route, but an amazing experience. And Sarah Jane Beasley, who's the partnerships manager from Blenheim, is with us and is going to talk you through. I think this is the video first, isn't it? And then we'll have a chat with Sarah Jane afterwards.
Sure. Go ahead, Johnny. Great. So, Flo?
SJ, yeah. So is there anything you wanted to say about groups and FIT visiting Blenheim, just to give anybody any practical information about the place?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously Blenheim is the only palace in the UK that has a non-royal or religious status. It's still a family home. So I think from that perspective, it's great for anybody from an FIT or groups. We, from our perspective, we welcome lots of international visitors. We have accessible pathways. We advise people to come to Blenheim and factor in a good 3 to 4 hours for the visit. Anybody that tries to do it in under 2 really isn't going to get to see very much of what we have to offer. As I say, we've got 10 formal gardens that have been built over the course of 200 years, 11 staterooms, and some of the most beautiful tapestries and artifacts which are really priceless. I think the other thing to mention is that we run a full event schedule throughout the year. So we have a food festival, a flower show, we do concerts, outdoor concerts. We have our Christmas light trail, which is phenomenal. Every year the palace is dressed with a different theme, and really is truly spectacular for anybody who wants to come, with at least a half a mile outside light installation, which we take through the grounds. We also have the Autumn Fest, Battle of the Proms, just to name a few. So throughout the year, it's a fantastic place to come. We're open every day apart from Christmas Day. And we operate, like Ian said, we operate a timed ticketing. We operate pre-purchase tickets that you can come in and just experience the venue. So it really is just, it's easy to get to from London. You can come out of directly through Paddington or Marylebone Station. It will take you probably about 45 minutes on the train. You'll come into Oxford city centre, and there are a number of bus routes that drop you directly outside the palace into Woodstock. Also, whilst we recommend you take time to come and see us, Woodstock itself is a beautiful little village with lots of little quintessentially English shops, all of which are, sort of independent sellers, and operate a really lovely experience to bolt on to seeing us at the palace. We have a number of eateries. Our afternoon tea is renowned, very iconic, and one that I think everybody should want to come and experience.
Thanks. That's
Yes.
good. Johnny, if you want to.
Hello and welcome to our new exhibition Churchill at Blenheim, which is opening soon on the 17th of May. The exhibition celebrates Churchill's life at Blenheim. He was born here in 1874 and spent many happy memories here. Winston has just left the room. He's here for the weekend. It's the bank holiday in 1947, and he's here to be presented with the freedom of Woodstock. As you go through the exhibition, you can discover all the different aspects of Churchill's life, starting with his birth and his family connections here at Blenheim, his artistic career, his military career, his social life, and also his travels throughout the world. Churchill always said he made 2 important decisions whilst at Blenheim: to be born and to propose to his wife Clementine. There is a section in the exhibition which explores their love story and their marriage of 57 years through their love letters to each other. While you're in the politics section, look out for Churchill's dispatch box, which he used when he was Secretary of State for War. It's been locked and we haven't been able to open it, so there might be secret government documents inside. Whilst in that section, also look out for the door for number 10 for your photo opportunity. And there's a special surprise at the end, which I think everyone will love to discover.
So, SJ, I had just a couple of questions. One is I thought it was just a fabulous video that you had and a great explanation. And I just want to say it was the birthplace of Winston Churchill, right?
Churchill. Yes, it was. Winston was born 30th of November, 1874. We do still have the room with which he was born in. He wasn't supposed to be born at Blenheim. His mother was visiting at the time. There is rumours that she either partied too hard the night before or did too vigorous a horse ride on the day of his birth. Either one, Winston popped at Blenheim a little bit earlier than expected. So, but we're very grateful for the appearance.
So, thank you very much, SJ. So, from here, we're moving to another iconic home in England. So, Johnny, if you want to start the video, or do you want to? So I hope you guys enjoyed this this little video that we just watched on Hampton Court, and I'm really thrilled actually to have Ann Wilson here, who's the head of sales for Historic Royal Palaces, take a part in this webinar. I've known Ann for many years, so this is really great. Ann, welcome.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. You know, when we were talking earlier, I laughed when you first came on because I thought, oh, how'd you get that background? Where'd you get that background from? I got, you know, every webinar I always have some sort of background on, although mine now is just blurred because I'm working from home today. But yeah, and then all of a sudden you said, no, it's not a background. So I'm thrilled to see that. You want Anne, maybe you want to pan a little bit?
So I will. I'm actually sat in Henry VIII's Great Hall at Hampton Court Palace. So you can see I am in the very place where he would have been over 500 years ago, and surrounded by, as you can see as I pan back, these wonderful tapestries that he had commissioned for this very room over 500 years ago. And they still are here today. And they're the second most valuable thing in the country after the crown jewels. So I'm feeling exceedingly privileged to be able to sat in here all on my own today.
That's really great. No, I mean, normally you'd be surrounded by people visiting that room, right?
Indeed, it's one of the major attractions within the palace when people come here. And today's Monday. We don't open on Mondays currently, or Tuesdays. So I have the place to myself. And the Tudor state apartments are really, you know, the Henry VIII story is what most people come to Hampton Court Palace to experience. So we're sat right in the heart of it at the moment.
So incredibly beautiful. I have some questions. I'm sure that so many of all of the advisors that are attending right now, they're hopefully familiar with Hampton Court. If not, the goal is actually to explain how this palace was just part of all the palaces that that belong to the royal family, and today still does, right? In fact, it's part of their assets.
Well, it's the Crown estate, so they're owned on behalf of the nation by the Crown, I suppose you would say. So it's not their personal property any longer, but yeah, it's still part of maybe a royal portfolio.
Not bad. I could go for a royal. My royal portfolio is very different than that. So a couple of basic questions. I mean, how far is Hampton Court from central London?
So Hampton Court is in what I like to call London's countryside. So it is still in London, but it's sort of on the boundary of Surrey. And it is on the banks of the River Thames because, let's face it, that's how they travelled back in the day, sort of on the way to Windsor Castle. So today you'd get here probably by train. which is the quickest way from London Waterloo Station. It's 32 minutes by train. There are 2 trains an hour, so every half an hour. And Hampton Court Station is the end of the line, so you're not going to go too far. So super easy. And then from the station to the palace, it's literally crossing the bridge. You can see the palace from the station, and it's a maximum 5 minutes walk. So really, really convenient. We do have parking here. If somebody wants to drive from central London, you're having a driver guide, perhaps, then it would take you about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the time of day and the traffic, of course. But you have options.
Great. And once you get there, if you want the full experience, looking at the gardens and, you know, and the interior, how much time do you need to spend?
As you say, if agents are not aware, it's a vast site. So it's 2 palaces for the price of one, I like to say, because we have this magnificent Tudor palace, but a couple of hundred years after Henry VIII, William III, who was no good at PR, because I bet you couldn't visualize William III, but he liked the palace and he rebuilt the back of it. So we have a Baroque English Versailles style palace at the back. As well as the Tudor palace. And then, as you say, the gardens, 60 acres of gardens. So this is really a full day out. However, if you're on a short itinerary, you can see an awful lot in half a day. Sometimes an excursion is combined with somewhere, as I've already mentioned, Windsor Castle nearby, or indeed, if you're a gardens enthusiast, then Kew Gardens, the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, is also close.
No, I think we've just had a technical issue here. Flo? Anne is frozen?
Yeah.
Okay, you're back, Anne.
She's back.
Oh, did I go?
Yeah,
Sorry
all
about
right.
that.
It's
I
all
was
right.
in full flow.
It's all
Where
right.
did I get to?
No, you were just talking about the gardens, and you know, there's a wonderful maze there that
Yes.
is great. I think that you can spend now. You can also picnic, right? So if people come, they want to picnic on the gardens in the summertime.
Yeah, sure.
possibly-
We have a restaurant, and picnics can be pre-arranged through the caterers there, or you can bring your own. So yes, the beautiful gardens, a perfect place for picnics.
Mhm. That's great. And so you can also organize private entry. Can we talk about that a little bit? So kind of bespoke tours.
Yeah, we have a lot of private experiences, and it's something that's becoming more and more and more popular. So we can arrange private tours with our personal guides, either before we open, so from 9 a.m. in the morning, and that gives an hour of personal time before the palace opens to the public. And we have a number of themes on those tours, so we can arrange just history where it happened, a general introduction and history to Hampton Court Palace. We can do glorious gardens. So again, doing a specific garden tour, and art at the palace. A lot of the royal art collection is housed here at Hampton Court, in the Cumberland Art Gallery, and indeed that includes works by Rembrandt, Van Dyck, Gainsborough, all from the royal collection. And then in the evenings we can do private tours from, in the summer months, from about 6:15 in the evening, but in the winter when it gets darker so much earlier, from 4:30. So again, we have the art theme tour, a history tour, but we also have a special one, the Salacious Gossip. So you can find out all the gossip from the days gone by, and who was all the back staircases and all the naughty goings on, shall we say. And then finally, we have a new private tour, which is Crowning Glory and Coronation Tales. So to mark the coronation of Charles III, we can tell the stories and tales of coronations dating back to Henry VIII. We also have a replica of Henry VIII's imperial state crown, and you can learn about all the different kings. The two previous Charleses spent their honeymoons at Hampton Court, so you can find out some backstories there too.
That's great. Is it possible to sail up the Thames to up the river to the palace?
It is. In the summer months, there is a boat company that runs all the way from Westminster to Hampton Court. It does take a long time. It takes about 4.5 hours. So if you're lucky enough to have a glorious day, then yes, that's quite a nice way to do it. But it does restrict your time at the palace, of course. There are shorter trips from Kingston and from Richmond as well.
And is it possible to organize dinner at the palace?
So we do let the palace for private events, for weddings as well. And yes, we can seat 280 in this fabulous room. I have dined in this room myself, which is a treat and a real experience, and many other rooms for different numbers. And we're very popular with incentive groups and corporate groups, as you would imagine. So yeah, a great gala finale for your incentive trip, perhaps.
All right, well, we'll have to organize that. So I just want to say thanks for making the time and having us enter this beautiful space. So thanks. We recorded some of these things, just so you all know, at different times as we were putting them together. So some of it is live, some of it was recorded, just so you know. So now we're going to move to Berkeley Castle. So Johnny, if you would, and this is everything is all along the route. So these are all things that you're going to see along the Great West Way.
My name is Charles Berkeley, and I'm the 27th generation of the family here at Berkeley Castle. The castle was granted to my ancestor Robert Fitzharding, a wealthy Bristol merchant, in 1153 by the King Henry II. Berkeley is a marcher castle, built overlooking the banks of the River Severn and situated between Bristol and Gloucester, two important strategic cities. Berkeley is the oldest inhabited castle in Great Britain, and it has been lived in by the same family for over 900 years. The history of England has played itself out here at Berkeley Castle, and many kings and queens have visited. Shakespeare's great play Richard II mentions Berkeley Castle. He also wrote A Midsummer Night's Dream for a Berkeley family wedding. During the Civil War, the castle came under attack, and interestingly, it was held by both the parliamentarians and the royalist forces. There is still a breach in that keep wall, which we are forbidden to rebuild even today. One of our most famous stories is of Edward II, King of England, who was imprisoned here at Berkeley Castle and murdered in a most gruesome way. And you will be able to see the holding cell and the dungeon pit next door. In 1574, on one of Queen Elizabeth I's royal progresses through Gloucestershire, she visited Berkeley Castle. On your tour, you will see a bedspread made for Queen Elizabeth I on her royal progress to Berkeley that has been left here. This is a most fantastic room, the Great Hall or Banqueting Hall. Many kings and queens would have dined in here with the family, and there have been minstrels and jesters performing to the assembled masses in here. Today it's still used for weddings and banquets. And as you take a walk around that room, you can imagine the centuries of history. Here at Berkeley, it's not all about its rich history. It does have a wonderful collection of furniture, paintings, and architecture. Our guides have a first-rate knowledge of the castle and its contents, and I know they will bring the castle alive for you, and you will be enthralled by the stories they have to say. There are, of course, lots of things for children to do whilst on site here at the castle and in the gardens. There are quizzes, there are trails, there are games in the garden, and of course they can dress up and be a prince or a princess, a king or a queen for a day. Berkeley is not just a castle, it's also a family home. Unlike many other houses, my parents still live in the private part of the castle, and it makes it very accessible for visitors to see the family going in and out of their doors. And I hope this continues for my family and the next generation. So welcome to Berkeley, and I hope you enjoy your visit. My family and I would love to see you here again.
We're ready. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that short video that we put together. This is really such a unique location, and Flo and I are really thrilled to just be able to show you it. I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, and we want to introduce you to Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Jenny's the visitor business manager of Berkeley Castle, and so I have a few questions for you, Jenny. I don't know if you're ready to answer them, but and if anyone wants to ask any questions, just type it into the chat, and we'll pick up on it to answer any questions that you might have later on. So I think that the first one is, Jenny, where are you oriented? Where are you located along the Great West Way?
So we are at the very west tip of the Great West Way. We're approximately 20 minutes from Bristol, about half an hour from Bath, and 2 hours from London along the M4 corridor. So really, really well positioned on the Great West Way.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about the castle itself? It looks so imposing behind you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's an absolutely incredible castle. It was built in 1153, and it is the oldest castle in Great Britain to still be inhabited by the same family, which means the Berkeley family have owned this castle since 1153. So you can imagine the lines of ancestors that have lived there and the history that's played out really within the grounds and the castle itself.
That's pretty. It's interesting only because I've lived in the same apartment for 20 years. I think it's a long time.
Yeah, not quite compared to the Berkeleys.
No.
Yes, we've had lots and lots of royal visitors over the centuries, from King Henry VII, Queen Elizabeth I, and probably one of our most famous stories is the murder of King Edward II, which apparently and allegedly happened at Berkeley Castle. So there are some absolutely fantastic stories to tell.
And who in the family is living there now?
So at the moment we have Mrs. Berkeley. So she lives in one of the private apartments at the castle. There's always been a member of the Berkeley family in residence at the castle since it was formed, which is another amazing fact. We also have Charles Berkeley, who will be inheriting the castle eventually, and he's pops into the office all the time. He's really involved in the business, as is Mrs. Berkeley.
Is he married, just in case anyone wants to know? Is he available?
He's not available now, I'm afraid. He's married, he's got a daughter, and actually his daughter will be the first ever female heir of.
So I really, thanks for making the time for this.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're really welcome. We always love to show things that we think are wonderful and expose destinations like yours, because it's not something that you see all the time.
Yeah, it's very different. You probably won't find somewhere like this in America. It's very, very English. It's so much history. So I hope that you will all come and visit us.
So that's our job. So thanks again,
Thank you.
Janet. We look forward to seeing you soon. Take care now.
Perfect.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So Flo, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, I mean, the next stately home that we're going to cover is Longley, which is a little bit dear to my heart because I worked there for a number of years, and I know the lovely Anna Walton, who is group sales manager there, and she knows everything about looking after the trade and the trade visitors that come through. So it's sort of a very special place in my mind, and hopefully you guys will agree when you see the video and hear from Anna. So passing over to Anna, who can tell you all about it.
Hi everybody, nice to meet you all on screen, I should say. I think, are you going to play the video first?
Yeah, Gianni can do that.
Hello, I'm Emma and welcome back to Longleat House. We're so excited to have the doors open again to welcome you in, and we're going to look now at one of my favourite rooms. This is the State Dining Room. This dining room was decorated for the 4th Marquis in the 1870s. The walls are covered in Spanish tooled leather, which was very, very shiny, all in gold and silver. So I'm sure this room looked spectacular when they entertained their special guests, including royalty. At the centre of this room is the extraordinary Lansdowne piece, which depicts the Battle of Lansdowne in 1643. It's a truly, truly spectacular piece, and it weighs almost 50 kilos. It's always so hard to pick a favourite room at Longleat House. I love this one as we can step back in time and think of all the wonderful banquets they hosted in these beautiful spaces. I hope you're able to join us for a special tour of Longleat House very soon.
Hello, today I wanted to show you my favourite room in the house. And here it is, the State Drawing Room. It's particularly ostentatiously furnished. The reason I like this room is the story behind this carpet here. Originally, the carpet matched the walls, but when my great-grandfather was away on a trip, his wife Violet decided that she wanted to have a seamless view from the carpet to the lawns there outside, and while he was away had it dyed green. And upon his return, he was apparently incandescent with rage. A favourite memory of mine is a particular school friend and I. We used to lie down here and hide behind this blind while the tours were going by through the Great Hall down below, and somewhat unconvincingly pretend to be the Grey Lady, the ghost of Longleat. We're looking forward to welcoming people back for guided tours of Longleat House so that you can experience this room and all of the others.
Anna, over to you. Tell us about how people can visit Longleat.
Fab, thank you. So just to let you know, the lady and gentleman that you just saw in that video are actually our 8th, he's our 8th Marquis, who's actually currently living in the house with his family. So they've introduced the house. It's been closed for the last couple of years during the pandemic, and it has now reopened. They are delighted to have it reopened. It is now only open for private tours, so we do no general public access. So it is pre-booked private tours. Just to give a bit more of an idea of where we are, we're actually based in Wiltshire, not far from Stonehenge, which you probably all will know. And we are about a 2-hour, 96 miles from London, so roughly a 2-hour drive or a 2-hour train journey. What makes us slightly different to other stately homes is that we also have a safari park in the back garden. So we do have, we are a conservation location. We do have various breeding programs in place for animals that are extinct. And that ranges from white rhino, lions, tigers, giraffes, etc. But focusing on the house, it is an Elizabethan stately home. It was the first house to actually open to the paying public in 1966. So it is quite a special house. We have 900 acres of parkland and formal gardens, and like Blenheim Palace, we actually have our gardens that were designed by Capability Brown. So they are very symmetrical. Everything about the gardens is symmetrical, and that is apparently what they did in those days. It was about, they wanted to make sure everything looked the same. So yeah, Capability Brown did design some of those. We also have a maze, actually, similar to Hampton Court Palace. It's actually one of the largest mazes in Europe. It's got 16,000 yew trees. I've actually never done it, which is a bit scary, isn't it? In terms of I've never succeeded. So that's a challenge for your customers. Recently, we've refurbished some of our cottages that are on site. So we do now have 7 luxury self-catering cottages that are available to hire. They are based in the safari park itself or in the grounds, actually we're overlooking the house. So one of the apartments is based, if you can imagine, a mile-long drive directly in front of the house. You can actually stay in the archway, all suitable for, well, they're all sleeping 2 to 8 people. And obviously you can stay 1 night as a minimum, but as long as you want to. And they're beautiful ways to explore the grounds and actually experience Longleat when we're closed, because you do get to be able to wander the grounds. In terms of the house tours, so we are very lucky to be able to offer a mixture of tours, really. We can have specialist tours. If you have people that have an interest in paintings or art, then we can offer our curator and the heritage team who can offer tours around the house we're going into rooms that you wouldn't normally see on the private tour route. So we can pretty much do anything you would like us to do. We can include catering in there. We have afternoon teas served on the 3-tiered plates as we expect in the UK, in England. We have various rooms in the house that we can cater in as well. So again, depending on what the expectation is, we can work with you on that. And Lord and Lady Bath are around, so they are willing. If they are around, they will say hi, they will come and chat, and it's just not a guarantees element, I'm afraid. We have tours that take you into all the libraries, the staterooms, the dining rooms, bedrooms that are off show. Some of you may know a bit of the history of Longleat. Our previous Lord Bath was quite an eccentric character, and he had some rooms in the house that are, how do I put this, eye-opening, very eye-opening to us. So one of those is still available to see, and we can certainly take you to see that little secret if your customers do wish to see that. Anything specific? Yeah, I could keep going. Sorry.
Thanks, Anna. We're running a bit late, so I think we're going to move along. Johnny, we're entering Bowood.
Yeah. I just wanted to introduce Jen Edmondson from Bowood, head of marketing. She'll tell you all about it. Another fabulous stately home along the Great West Way.
Thank you, Flo. It's quite a hard act to follow, actually, all those amazing stately homes. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I probably just have a couple of little things to say, but actually we've produced a new video that has a lot of information in it, so I don't want to kind of completely overload you. But yeah, I'm Jen. I'm from Bowood House and Gardens. Delighted to introduce Bowood to you. It's been home to the Lansdowne family since 1754. We're located on a 2,000-acre country estate in the heart of Wiltshire and the heart of the Great West Way. We're roughly an hour and a half from London, roughly 40 minutes from Stonehenge and from Bath. So those two places actually work really well to coincide a visit. It's a very elegant Georgian house, as you can see, and it sits in a beautiful capability brown parkland. The whole estate has evolved over the last 250 years ago or so, and now we actually have a 43-bedroom boutique hotel and a PGA golf course on the estate, situated about a mile or so from the house and gardens. So yeah, I think now's a good time to start the video.
Welcome to Bowood House and Gardens, one of the most breathtaking and historical estates in the UK. Found in the heart of Wiltshire, this hidden treasure is only a short journey from Bath, Bristol and Swindon, making it a central stop on your southwest tour. Today we're going to take you on a tour of the estate and show you why it's such a popular destination for both tourists and locals. From the rich heritage, stunning architecture and the beautiful vistas across the Bowood estate, we can show exactly why Bowood is essential for groups and individuals alike. Bowood House and Gardens is open every year from early April until November 1st, with plenty of attractions on offer throughout the season. Purchased by the Earl of Shelburne in 1754, Bowood House is still occupied to this day by the Petty Fitzmaurice family and is a cultural staple in the local community, with generations of family still enjoying and visiting every year. During your visit, we'd invite you to take in the fascinating history of Bowood by exploring the exhibitions and the house.
Anyone who has an interest in history, and particularly the history of science, you must come and visit the laboratory in Bowood House. This is where the scientist and religious nonconformist Joseph Priestley discovered oxygen. So the first Marquis of Lansdowne was an extraordinary man, a real forward thinker, and he surrounded himself with an international group of philosophers, economists, and they were the great intellectuals or nonconformists of their day. And it was called the Bowood Circle, Lansdowne Circle, and it included people from France and from America, including Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of America. And he was a great friend with Priestley as well, and of course the two, as scientists, would exchange ideas and toured and met regularly. The Lansdowne's connection with America actually goes back a few hundred years. The first Marquis of Lansdowne, he actually owned some land, family land, inherited in America, but he's probably most remembered because when he was very briefly Prime Minister of Britain, he helped make the American Revolution come to an end and helped with the Peace of Paris. So there are lots of places named after his courtesy title of Shelburne and Lansdowne in America because of that help that he gave to America and their independence. One of the best things about my job is that I get to do an exhibition every year, and we explore a particular element of Bowood's history in that exhibition, and we retrieve things from the reserve collection and the archive. And this year we have looked at the history of Bowood's changing landscape. So from the landscape that they bought in the 1750s and how that has transitioned. Probably the most important change was the second Earl, the first Marquis, who employed the very famous Lancelot Capability Brown to redesign the landscape. And actually, Bowood is probably one of the best preserved examples of Brown's work, and that completely transformed the area and the views to and from. And that went together with some major redesign of the house, and the Adam brothers, mainly Robert Adam at this stage, were employed to redesign the house and add the orangery, which you visit when you come to Bowood. And so there's a huge upheaval in the 1750s, and everything completely transformed. And what's so glorious is that we still have it here to see now.
Whilst a separate attraction from Bowood House and Gardens and only a short journey away, the woodland gardens on the Bowood estate are a true paradise for nature lovers. Open for just 6 weeks of the year between mid-April to early June, these gardens are home to countless species of trees and shrubs, as well as a wide variety of wildlife. The Woodland Gardens is a rarity and has been heralded as one of the best gardens of its type in the UK, with a variety of plants that were previously thought to be extinct. With a rich history of its own, with the first rhododendrons being planted by the third Marquis of Lansdowne in 1853, and the impressive family mausoleum that was designed by Robert Adam in 1761, we can't recommend making this visit enough. And here we have the incredible Bowood Arboretum. This collection of trees and shrubs from around the world is a true treasure trove for botanists and nature enthusiasts. With over 700 species on display, including 23 champion trees, the Arboretum is a living museum that showcases the beauty and diversity of the natural world. The park is considered to be one of Capability Brown's finest creations, and with a mix of wooded plantations and sweeping lawns leading down to a mile-long winding lake, it's incredibly easy to see why. Thank you so much for joining us on this tour of Bowood. We hope you've enjoyed this brief glimpse into the nature and beauty. So if you're looking for a perfect destination to get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, then Bowood should be at the top of your list. So please do come on by and experience the magic of Bowood for yourself.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know that I did. We have now moved on to the next segment of the webinar, which is looking at a collection of properties that you can actually place your guests in, so your customers in. So if we can, Jen, I don't know if Flo, I mean, I meant to say, Flo, if you want to.
Yes, so the exclusive collection is a collection of 4 hotels that span the length and breadth of the Great Way, and we're lucky to have Justine Rayner and Sarah Waddington from Lainston House and Penny Hill Park with us today. So yeah, I mean, should we start with Penny Hill Park? So I think that's the next video, and I think Justine's going to talk us through some of this footage. So over to you, Justine.
Hello, so I'm Justine. I'm based at Penny Hill Park. So we are based in Surrey, and we're just 25 minutes from Heathrow. The closest what we've talked about today is Windsor and Hampton Court Palace. So we are in stone's throw away from them, but rather than being a destination to come and visit, we're a destination that you can come and stay.
There
Do you want
go.
to start the video?
Welcome to Penny Hill Park. Sitting amongst 120 acres of parkland, Penny Hill Park in Bagshot is Surrey's most luxurious spa and hotel retreat, offering the ultimate reset button.
So this is the, you can't actually hear my voice, so this is the front of the hotel, and the time that this was actually filmed was when we were just celebrating the the coronations. That's why the flower display is what it is. So we are set in 120 acres, and the original house was built in 1849, which is what I'm just walking through now. It then leads on to our Lily Pond Terrace, which is where you'll get the majority of our grounds, and that's actually where I'm sitting at today. So you can just see the house just behind us. So we've had lots of additions that have been built onto the hotel since that time. It became a hotel in 1982. It's been owned by the same family since. So here's a perfect place for drinks. We can serve food out here. And then when you go inside the property, because we have 3 restaurants, we also have an area for afternoon tea. That's just in the Hillfield bar that we're just walking towards now. Can be very busy. Caught it on a day that it was empty. You've got cocktails that are served in here, different drinks, and then we've also got an all-day menu as well. And the drink that they're preparing there is just one of our, it's actually a gin that was made for us. So it's called Hillfield Gin.
Have to try that one day.
Yeah, a favorite of ours. So one of our restaurant, which is our brasserie style restaurant, which is called Hillfield Restaurant, that I'm just walking into now. We have got 2 others, one which is in our spa, and then we've also got our Michelin starred restaurants, which is called Latimer, which is a smaller, intimate restaurant which has capacity for tables of 2s and 4s, so much smaller area. But this restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it has the perfect view of our spa, which is what we're most famous for. So it's one of the largest spas in the country, and we keep extending the outside space as well. And it's got an outdoor pool, and that's the Latimer restaurant, which is a Michelin star restaurant. We then have lots of, which is probably famous throughout Exclusive, but we always love to have an open fire, which it was actually quite a warm day when that was actually filmed. So often get requests for having the open fire to be lit during hot days. But this is our games room. So if you're not looking for anywhere to eat and drink, then you've got lots of nooks and crannies to be able to move into as well.
And just, do you have rooms that are connecting?
Yes, so there's a mixture of rooms that are interconnecting. We also home to the England rugby team, and they actually do, when they stay, they actually have twin beds. So we have quite a lot of room that has the twin double beds, which you'll be so used to, which I think is this one that we're just going into. Got Aquavision in the TVs, family rooms. Although the spa itself is an adult-only spa, obviously we are set in lovely grounds, and all our restaurants are family suitable as well. This is one of our racecourse rooms. So you'll find throughout Exclusive that everything is named after things in the area. So because of our location, we're quite close to Ascot Racecourse. So this section of all the rooms that are actually named after racecourses. This is a favourite. Don't know if you can see in the picture, but it's like a beautiful pink colour, that wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. Someone was asking me, are all the rooms air conditioned?
Yes. So this is one of our plush suites. So not all do have 4-poster beds. Every one of our rooms is individual in style. And you've got Donut the deer in every single room, which is our do not disturb sign. So you put that outside of the room and then make sure that the room isn't serviced when he's out there. So a spa is a separate building, which you just come out from the grounds. The buildings that you can see in front of me there are all the different bedrooms. So there's a short walk down the hill when I get there. Is where our spa is. So you've got an outdoor pool, which is heated throughout the year. It's probably our most popular, especially at the moment because we're having such an amazing heat wave. That's where you'll see most of our guests. And we're always adding different things onto the hotel. So you'll just see in the background now, we've just got 4 cabanas being built. So they're private cabanas with a spa, copper tub, and then a private veranda for sunbathing.
Lovely. I'm ready to go now for a few days. I was going to say for a few weeks, but no.
We do tend to find that people that are staying in the area, because we have quite a lot of golf clubs in the area, which are particularly famous. So you've got like Sunningdale and Wentworth. So it's a very mix of what people are coming for. But all guests have, there's no like you have access to the spa because it's so big. We're able to arrange a capacity there, so you have you can use the spa from 3 p.m. on the day of arrival to 2 p.m. on checkout.
Great. And you said this was adults only?
The spa is adults only, so over 16s. The outdoor pool is available for families, but indoor is pure adult facilities.
Okay.
So we've got our outdoor hot tubs, hydrotherapy, which is the most popular. It's what you'll see in all the imagery for the hotel.
Lots of massage rooms, treatment rooms.
Yeah, 20 different treatment rooms, an indoor ballroom pool that you can actually hear music from when you go into water. So that's that pool just there.
Mm-hmm.
So very relaxed, and that is why it's adult only. So it's a very relaxing space. You've got 20 thermal cabins, which you're just going into now, which are the steam rooms, saunas, salt rooms. They are heated beds.
Mm.
I always forget the name of that one. So it's a tepidarium.
Very
And that's the
good.
access to the hydrotherapy just outside. That's probably all that is to show you.
Thank you. It's a great spot to relax in. Thanks, Justine. That was great. Johnny, can we move now on to our next presentation? Johnny?
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I talk about Lainston? This is my house. I wish it was we are one of the sister properties of Penny Hill Park. We are considerably smaller, but perfectly packaged, and perfect for our guests. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about Lainston first of all before we move into the videos. But we do have some videos to show you. Again, my sound hasn't really worked, so as Justine did, I will talk about them. But if we can just pop back to that image to begin with, Jenny, that would be great. So I can just talk about the house to start with. So Lainston House is situated in Winchester. So we're only an hour from London. So Winchester used to be the capital of England. So there's been lots of talk this afternoon about heritage and royalty and the history of England. But we used to be the capital of England down here in Winchester. The house is a 17th century house. It's a William and Mary style property. And it's built in the most perfect location in that the sun rises directly in front of the house and sets directly in the middle of the back of the house. So the most incredible place to see sunset and sunrise. We're set in 63 acres of beautiful grounds. You can see some of the grounds just behind me here. So we really encourage our guests to get out and enjoy the fresh air that's immediately surrounding the house. But we also suggest that they do that on one of the terraces with afternoon tea or a glass of wine or a nice cold gin and tonic. So for us, it's all about being an hour from London, but feeling really rural and really relaxing. And I'm just surrounded by birds. At the moment, I can hear the birds singing, so it's just the most amazing place to be. Lots of people have stayed at the hotel and also agreed that Lainston is a great place to be. So I just wanted to mention a few sort of interesting people that have stayed here at the hotel. So we're located very close to the River Test, which is the kind of world-renowned place to go fly fishing for guests. George Bush came here and stayed here, or President George Bush stayed here and went fly fishing here, and also met with Margaret Thatcher. And we've had various other sort of famous people stay throughout the years. Les Mis was filmed, the feature film was filmed in Winchester, part of it was filmed in Winchester, and Anne Hathaway stayed, Hugh Jackman stayed. So we've had some really incredible people stay here at Lainston House. So very similar to Penny Hill Park in that we have bedrooms that are all individually styled. So not one bedroom is the same. Every bedroom is completely different. And here at Lainston, we have 50 of those bedrooms, from smaller rooms right the way up to some very large suites that we have here. And unlike Penny Hill Park, we don't have a spa, but what we do have here is we have a cookery school. And our cookery school is called Season. So your guests can come here and they can either join one of our public cookery classes that we run at the weekends, or they can have their own private bespoke cookery class, whether it be in our indoor cookery school or up in our kitchen garden, where we have our setup with our barbecues and our wood-fired ovens. We can do a cookery class for your guests, a private class in the most incredible surroundings here at Lainston. Beautiful. So, Yanni, if you're happy to play the videos, and I'll talk my way through them if that's okay. So the first place that we're starting is the Avenue Restaurant. It's called the Avenue Restaurant because it overlooks our avenue of lime trees. We have trees that are over 300 years old here on the grounds. And the Avenue Restaurant is our fine dining restaurant. So here you will be able to enjoy either a 3-course a la carte option, or we have a 6-course tasting menu. Much of the produce that we serve in our restaurants is grown in our kitchen garden on site. And we source produce locally as much as we can because we've got so much amazing food locally. We've got the rooms are split across the house in a couple of different wings, but here I'm just showing you upstairs the main staircase of the actual house, where we have a number of bedrooms. Some of the key suites of the house are based upstairs in the in the main part of the house, and those are named, all the rooms, as Justine said about Pennyhill Park, are all named after local areas. Our main suite is called Wolvesey Suite, and that's named after Wolvesey Castle, which is an English heritage site in Winchester. So this is a huge suite. We have a separate toilet for guests in here, and then once you go into the main part of the suite, we have a large lounge with also a dining table. But the greatest thing about this suite is that it's dual aspect. So you can look out over the lawn that I'm sat on now, the south lawn, but also over the avenue of lime trees. So it means that when you're staying in the Wolsey suite, you really feel like you are the king of the castle with the best views. Then of course we have the bedroom. Justine mentioned earlier that we have the group have many twin rooms, and that's true of Lainston as well. We have lots of rooms where we can twin the beds. But we also have a number of family suites where we have 2 double beds. And I believe that you'll see some of those shortly. Bathrooms are key for our group. So we have lots of feature bathrooms, and the Wolsey suite has a steam shower. So you have your own private steam room shower. I'm just taking you into another suite now. This is a traditional junior suite. So it's a slightly smaller suite than Wolsey, but still offers great facilities. And the great thing about this room here is that it's fully accessible. So we cater for any guests with accessibility requirements. So this one has a bath, but it also has a walk-in shower. So it's suitable for any guests that may be in wheelchairs or need mobility scooters and struggle slightly with their walking. But again, another example of a great suite with a seating area and then a large king-size bed as well. Every room has a safe, so for any guests that are coming from abroad where they want to store valuables, passports, they can put those in our safes too. Okay.
Very generous, those rooms.
Yeah, they are really large, and that's one of the comments that we get from most of our guests is the size of the rooms. And I guess that's the luxury of being out in the countryside, is that we do have the ability to have luxury and to have lots of spacious rooms. As Justine mentioned earlier, we are family owned. So the 7 hotels that we've got are family owned. They're owned by the Pecorelli family, and Lainston House has been their house for 40 years. So it's been a hotel for them for 40 years. This is a 4-poster suite. I always like to show this one because I think to stay in a 4-poster suite in a house like Lainston is just perfect and exactly what I would want to do if I was staying in the UK. So again, great size bathrooms as well, so lots of room. I can see that one of your colleagues mentioned accessible rooms and elevators in the house. We don't have elevators, so the house doesn't have any lifts, but we have many rooms on the ground floor. So for most of the suites, we have a number of suites are on the ground floor, so we would always be able to accommodate your guests. And all the grounds are accessed on the level, so are the restaurants. So once a guest is in the hotel, they won't have any concerns with accessibility. So this room as well, I showed this one on the video because it's a great example of interconnecting. So we have the interconnecting 4-poster suite, and that interconnects with a family junior suite. So if you had a multi-generational family traveling, and you may have parents and then children, or grandparents with then a family, we have this ability to offer interconnecting rooms for guests. Again, lots of space, and these rooms we can also add additional beds into for guests. So we can put additional Z beds in. So if people have got more children, we can accommodate extra children. And we also have some really fun teepees as well. So we can put teepees in rooms for children. So they can either sleep in the teepees, or they can use the teepees as kind of little playhouses. So that's a really cute extra touch that we offer at Lainston. In the video, I'm just showing you the fishing wing. So we have a number of rooms in the fishing wing, and I wanted to highlight the fishing wing because it flags up our close proximity to the River Test. And as I said, really popular for fly fishing. So anytime from May to September. And we also have access to a lake that is fed by the River Test. So if any of your guests are looking for fly fishing, you can let us know, and we can put them in touch with the people who look after the lake and arrange that for them. Finally, I'm just showing you some a smaller room. So these are what we call our entry-level rooms. So these are cozy rooms, and this is the smallest room that your guests would ever stay in if they were staying in the hotel. There are a block of 14 of them, all air conditioned. But just wanted to show you the variation in the suite, in the rooms, and that they're all really lovely rooms. regardless of which your guests choose. Somebody earlier mentioned helicopters and helicopter tours as well. Just to let you know that we do have a helipad. I believe there's also a helipad at Pennyhill Park. So if any of the guests wish to arrive by helicopter and arrive in style, then that's absolutely fine by us. And we do have free parking for cars, but we also can park a helicopter. I don't think that's correct. I think you land a helicopter rather than park it, but we can definitely do that here at Lainston. And this is one of our cozy rooms. So as you can see, large, still with a desk, really spacious, lots of natural daylight and an extra seating area as well. All the rooms have, as I mentioned, safes earlier, bathrobes and slippers as well. So it's got a real luxury feel when you stay at any of our exclusive properties.
Sarah, it's just great.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Really
Thank you very much. Hopefully I'll get to show some people the house for real, face to face.
That's right. Flo, is there anything else you want to? We've reached the end of our webinar.
We have.
Definitely gone over.
It's been an amazing journey. I hope you've all enjoyed the Great West Way journey that we've been on. And apologies, it's overrun a little bit, but we did feel that it was important to include sort of things to do, places to stay, and just the touching on. We do have a range of tour guides that we are in touch with, that we work closely with. So if you were looking for guided tours around towns or cities, we've got access to contacts that we can put Tom in touch with. But yeah, we look forward to welcoming your clients to the Great West Way, and hope you'll be booking in through Tom and his team, and we'll keep in touch. But nice to speak to everybody.
And you'll see us all next Tuesday, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we hope to see some of you again, to see the follow-up webinars we've got the waterways next week, and then we've got food and drink the week after.
So great. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
Excellent. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.